In Hollywood, where brilliance and charisma often overshadow the truth, there exists a figure both celebrated and controversial. She's not just a familiar face on our screens, but a voice that echoes with defiance against injustice. Her name? Leah Marie Remini. She was Hollywood starlet known for her wit and charm, yet haunted by the shadows of her past. Amidst the dazzle of Tinseltown, Remini's story stands out not just for her acting prowess, but for her unyielding battle against a formidable opponent, the Church of Scientology. Remini's journey isn't a smooth ride down the red carpet. It's a roller coaster of courage and resilience. From her iconic role as Carrie Heffernan in The King of Queens to her daring departure from Scientology in 2013, her life is a great evidence to bravery in the face of adversity.
My eyes opened and I just could no longer be affiliated with the organization, and my family felt the same, so we left.
But let's rewind a bit. Imagine a young girl brimming with dreams dropping out of school to chase the elusive spotlight of Hollywood. It's a leap of faith that sets the stage for her meteoric rise in the entertainment industry. The bright lights of fame beckon, but so does the darkness lurking within Scientology's ranks. Remini's departure from the church sends shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. She doesn't just walk away quietly. She raises her voice, unafraid to shine a light on the alleged injustices within Scientology's walls. Her Emmy-winning documentary series becomes a battleground for survivors to share their truths, earning her accolades and admiration. The story of Leah Remini's clash with the controversial Church of Scientology is captivating, gripping the attention of people worldwide. From newspapers to social media, her story spreads like wildfire. Why all the buzz? Well, Leah Remini's journey is deeply intertwined with Scientology since her childhood, giving her a unique insight into its workings. In a revealing interview with ABC News 2020, Leah Remini pulled back the curtain on her life within Scientology. She opened up about her experiences, shedding light on the influence of Scientology heavyweight Tom Cruise and the fallout from his 2006 wedding to Katie Holmes. It was a watershed moment as Remini, once a prominent figure within the church, publicly broke ties in 2013 after 3 decades of service. Her decision to speak out wasn't taken lightly. Remini knew the risks. She understood firsthand how the church deals with dissenters. Yet, driven by a desire for truth, she bravely stepped forward. "I know what my former church, how they deal with people who tell their story," Remini remarked. "And so I wanted to be the one to say it." But her bold move didn't go unchallenged. As she unveiled her memoir, Troublemaker, Surviving Hollywood and Scientology, the church hit back with a barrage of criticism. They labeled her a liar, self-absorbed, and even embarrassing. Yet, despite their attempts to discredit her, Remini stood firm, resolute in her mission to expose the truth. Her journey began in her formative years. Raised in a family deeply entrenched in Scientology, Remini felt like an outsider due to their modest means. Her mother, seeking solace and purpose, dove headfirst into Scientology, believing it to be a path to enlightenment. Eventually, she enrolled Leah and her sister Nicole in the church, immersing them in its teachings and rituals. For Leah, being a Scientologist meant shouldering immense responsibility from a young age. Children were viewed as spiritual beings, treated with a seriousness that inflated their egos. As teenagers, Leah and her sister joined the Sea Org, a devout order within the church, relocating to its spiritual hub in Clearwater, Florida. Life in the Sea Org was far from glamorous. Housed in rundown accommodations, they toiled under grueling conditions, bound by a commitment that spanned lifetimes. Despite the hardships, Leah Remini persevered, fueled by a determination to find her own truth amidst the chaos. Leah Remini's journey through Scientology's Sea Org was no easy ride. She traded traditional schooling for an immersive dive into Scientology teachings, starting from the 8th grade. Education, as she puts it, meant diving deep into Scientology's doctrine, but the Sea Org wasn't just about studying. Remini faced hurdles, like trying to rally for better living conditions and facing ethics charges for getting involved with boys. It reached a breaking point when she and her sister faced threats of being sent to the Rehabilitation Project Force, a severe punishment within Scientology. When Remini's mother, Vicky, got wind of their troubles, she pulled them out of the Sea Org. The church claimed Remini was dismissed for failing ethical standards, but regardless, their contracts were over. After leaving the Sea Org, Remini and her family found themselves in East Hollywood, deeply entrenched in the Scientology community. Despite their hardships, they persisted, with Leah throwing herself into Scientology practices and study. Moving up the bridge to total freedom became Leah's focus, involving courses and auditing sessions aimed at spiritual enlightenment. But the pursuit came with a hefty price tag, draining her finances. To make ends meet, Remini ventured into waitressing and secretarial work before finding her calling in acting and comedy. Her Scientology background, she admits, equipped her with the confidence and tools to navigate the industry. Between the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles nightlife, Leah Remini's life took an unexpected turn when she crossed paths with Angelo Pagan, a singer in a Cuban nightclub. Their connection was instant, leading Pagan to delve into Scientology and eventually leave his wife to be with Remini. Then came the call that changed everything, the lead role in a new TV show called The King of Queens. Success followed, bringing fame, fortune, and a heightened status within the Church of Scientology. By 1997, Remini was starring in Scientology videos and mingling with David Miscavige, the influential leader of the church, and his wife, Shelley Miscavige. In 2003, Remini and Pagan tied the knot, welcoming a daughter the following year. Despite her adherence to Scientology, Remini opted for an epidural during childbirth, deviating from the church's preference for drug-free births. Around this time, Remini forged a friendship with Tom Cruise, Scientology's most prominent figure. Initially, Cruise's attention was flattering, but Remini soon realized the extent of his influence within the church. A seemingly innocent request to teach Cruise salsa dancing turned into a confrontation when Remini witnessed Cruise's overt affection towards his then-girlfriend Katie Holmes. Remini's remark earned her a reprimand from church officials, highlighting Scientology's practice of reporting rule breakers through knowledge reports. In Scientology, criticism is met with scrutiny, with members expected to police each other's actions. Leah Remini didn't hold back when it came to reporting on fellow Scientology members, including her own husband. She admitted to filing numerous reports, even on those closest to her. Despite this, Remini continued to spend time with Tom Cruise, Scientology's golden boy. But when Cruise's actions started to tarnish the church's reputation, like criticizing Brooke Shields and engaging in controversial behavior on TV, Remini spoke up. She felt his behavior didn't reflect well on Scientology and suggested he stick to acting. However, her criticism of Cruise didn't sit well with church officials. They accused her of having ulterior motives, claiming she was just deflecting from her own wrongdoings. Remini found herself labeled as anti-Scientology for daring to question Cruise's actions. Her disillusionment grew as she witnessed the church's adoration for Cruise, especially from its leader, David Miscavige. Despite Miscavige's close relationship with Cruise, Remini couldn't understand the church's obsession with a mere actor. In 2006, Remini attended Cruise's wedding to Katie Holmes, an event marred by the church's attempts to separate her from her friend, Jennifer Lopez. The absence of Miscavige's wife, Shelley, raised further concerns for Remini. Her discomfort peaked when she realized the church was more focused on appearances than addressing internal issues. Remini left the wedding determined to save Scientology, filing reports about the church's behavior at the event. Remini faced a storm of accusations from fellow Scientologists after attending a high-profile wedding. They accused her of disruptive behavior, like being loud and changing seats, even claiming she destroyed the wedding. Feeling dismayed, Remini found herself sent to a Sea Org facility in Clearwater, Florida, for what she called reprogramming. She was pressured to recant her actions and apologize for ruining the event. Despite this, Remini wasn't ready to leave the church. The thought of giving up everything she knew and leaving her family behind was daunting. So, she complied with their demands to regain her freedom. Despite her compliance, doubts began to grow in Remini's mind about Scientology's teachings. She questioned the organization's cosmic theology, particularly when she reached a key level, revealing church secrets about the universe's history, including a bizarre tale about a warlord named Xenu. Though troubled by these revelations, Remini remained within the church. Even when Katie Holmes publicly left Tom Cruise in 2012, Remini didn't immediately walk away. She longed for acknowledgement and validation from Cruise and church leaders for her loyalty. Despite her struggles, Remini maintained a cordial friendship with Cruz, exchanging friendly notes, but the cracks in her faith were widening and she yearned for answers and closure from those she once revered. Leah Remini found herself grappling with renewed anger and frustration after the highly publicized divorce of Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. Memories of her taxing counseling sessions in Florida resurfaced, along with the realization of the substantial amounts of money she had poured into Scientology for auditing, courses, and materials. Feeling increasingly disenchanted, Remini made a bold move within Scientology. She ventured online to read criticisms of the church. What she discovered shook her to the core. Stories of families torn apart by the church's practice of disconnection and allegations of abuse by top officials, including David Miscavige, left her heartbroken and questioning her beliefs. Despite Scientology's vehement denials, Remini couldn't shake off the disturbing accounts. In a surprising turn, she reached out to Mike Rinder, considered an enemy by the church, seeking answers and validation for her doubts. As her concerns mounted, Remini became increasingly vocal about the whereabouts of Shelley Miscavige, David Miscavige's wife. Her persistence led to confrontations with church officials, escalating tensions in her household. An altercation between Remini's husband and church officials marked a turning point. Faced with expulsion from the church, Remini finally made the decision to leave. Despite her resolve, she feared the repercussions of disconnection, the possibility of losing her family and loved ones who remained loyal to Scientology. Amid Leah Remini's departure from the church, there's a clash of perspectives between her and the church's stance. The church defends itself, stating that disconnection is a choice meant to help members escape harmful relationships. However, Remini finds solace in the support of her family, who stand by her side as she steps away from the church. Their unwavering support means the world to her. In the summer of 2013, Remini made her split with the church public. Initially, the church's response was subdued, but tensions escalated when Remini filed a missing persons report for Shelley Miscavige, who hadn't been seen publicly since 2007. Although the Los Angeles Police Department closed the case after meeting with Shelley, the church criticized Remini's actions as a publicity stunt. The conflict intensified when Remini appeared on ABC's Dancing with the Stars in September 2013. Her choice of song, Katy Perry's Raw, carried a message she wanted to convey. However, her stance faced backlash from celebrity Scientologist Kirstie Alley, who labeled Remini a bigot and enemy for her outspoken criticism of Scientology. Despite the criticism, Remini understood Alley's perspective, recognizing the tendency to defend one's beliefs fervently. As Remini guest-hosted Dancing with the Stars and ABC News prepared to air their interview, the church intensified its critique. Accusing Remini of ethical lapses and mistreatment of others, the church portrayed her as an expelled member regurgitating debunked myths. Leah Remini, a woman who spent over 3 decades entrenched in the Church of Scientology, now finds herself on the other side, reflecting on her journey with a mixture of regret and resilience. "I agree with them," she admits, acknowledging that shedding the weight of those 30 years won't happen overnight. Her journey out of the church hasn't been easy, and she doesn't paint a rosy picture of her former affiliation. "That's not a shining endorsement for the Church of Scientology," she remarks, hinting at the deep-seated flaws she's uncovered along the way. When posed with the question of whether she wishes for the church to disappear entirely or simply undergo transformation, Remini hesitates. She acknowledges the goodness within many church members while pointing a finger at the church's policies as the root of the problem. "It's the parishioners that have the power," she asserts, suggesting that change can only come from within if members reject the harmful doctrines that bind them. Now, 2 years away from the church's grip, Remini finds herself in a better place, both personally and professionally. Her departure from Scientology has strengthened the bonds with her family, a theme that plays out on their reality show. "I don't regret what I've been through," Remini reflects, acknowledging the lessons learned and the resilience gained from overcoming the troubling episodes. But Remini's journey doesn't end with her departure from the church. Instead, she emerges as a champion for those silenced by fear, using her platform to amplify their voices. Through her podcast, Scientology Fair Game, she shines a light on the injustices faced by former members, standing firm against the oppressive tactics employed by the church. In a world where speaking truth to power often invites resistance, Leah Remini stands as a beacon of courage and conviction. Her story serves as a reminder that even in the face of life calamities, our voices have the power to spark change and illuminate the darkest corners of society. As her journey continues, one can't help but wonder, what lies ahead for Leah Remini? Will her advocacy bring about the change she seeks within the Church of Scientology? And how many more will find the courage to speak out against injustice, inspired by her unwavering resolve? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Leah Remini's story is far from over.